Hey guys, it's always an adjustment between looking at my regular camera, like my phone, and Periscope. Periscope's camera seems to be different. And I updated today, so they say you can zoom in, and apparently you can. That's good, so I can crop out all crazy stuff that's going on behind me. I did some lighting, some more lighting today. Yes, thank you for inviting followers. And I never did a white background for our Periscope or any other vlog, but I'm doing something a little different, bringing you guys a little something different. I usually do blue or pink, but today we're gonna do white. White means serious, right? I have like a nude lip. I don't really like it under this light. Wipe it off. Whatever. Don't touch me. How are you guys' day going? Day's going good? Before I get to my story, I am cooking dinner right now. Curry chicken, rice, like jasmine rice, and spinach with chickpeas. Trying to be better. I worked out today, so my day was very productive because I got the chance to work out a little bit. Yeah, I'm trying to be healthy. I got on the scale this morning, and it said 154. No, not about that life. Not at all. Yeah, so I worked out today, trying to get myself together, because winter's coming, and then summer's right after winter, and then if you're looking crazy, it's not gonna work. But story time. Yeah, let's not talk about the scale. Let's not talk about the scale at all. Now, for those who know me hey boo, for those who know me outside of social media, my blog is AV Does What, but the A in AV stands for Amber. Now, people who met me as AV, they kind of get like, oh, your name is Amber. Like, why are you hiding it? I thought it was like something crazy, like, I don't know. I can't even think of a crazy name that starts with an A right now. But people always thought it was like something I needed to hide, or I was ashamed of my name, or I just didn't like it. I'm like, no one says those things if your name is AJ or Casey or DJ or any other something J, but for some reason AV people just assumed a lot of things. And my background is in film and television, props and set design. Big up to the art department. So going on set, people thought I just made it up and thought it was audio visual. No, it's not that either. It's really my initials. My parents were just like super smart, and they knew what I was going to do in my career paths. But when I graduated from Central Connecticut State University, I took on an internship with The Onion. Yeah, a lot of people thought it was audiovisual, and some people still think it's audiovisual, which is weird. But if you like it, I love it. But I was an intern in the art department for The Onion, the site that does all the satire news. Yeah, I was making props and things like that for them. And then one day, I was still living in Connecticut with my family, and I thought to myself, looking for jobs and freelancing, because when I graduated, this is when the recession first hit, like for real. 2008 is when I graduated. 2008? Yes, 2008 is when I graduated, and no one got a job nowhere. And I said, I think I'm not getting gigs because of my address. And living in Connecticut, like, people don't want to pay for your transportation. No one's really here if you're late to set because you are getting on the Metro North. So what I did was I used a friend's address. No, I used my aunt's address, and I was getting more callbacks. Yeah, you're supposed to take your address off resumes, but the thing was, when I first started out in film and television, they specifically wanted to know, so they can discriminate against me. So there goes that. So I was like, and film is a little bit different when it comes to HR policies and not discriminating against people and things like that. Like, no F's are given ever, especially when you're just starting out as a PA. Production assistant, that's what PA stands for. And this was a transition for me. Yes, not to mention that you don't know who's sending you. Yep, there's a bunch of creeps out there. But So I started getting more responses because I have a New York address, right? So I'm like, this is interesting. And since my first name is not racially telling, I should say, in quotes, I thought to myself, maybe if I use my initials, maybe something else will happen, right? So I used my initials, AV, and I'm like, oh, it sounds cool. And I tested it out at the Onion. Like, it was like one day I came in, my boss was like, hey, Amber. I said, nope, it's AV now. You gotta chill. That's my name. So that's kind of funny how that transition happened, because it was like I was interning Mondays and Fridays, and it was like Monday I was Amber, Friday I was AV, and that's what she was gonna say for the rest of the time I'm gonna be here, and it worked. And I was applying for stuff, and I received a production designer gig just from my reel, and I was like, okay, this is dope. I showed up to the production meeting. We didn't have a phone call. We didn't have an in-face interview. Nothing. It was just like, oh, I like your reel. I like your stuff. You can make stuff. You can design. You can decorate. Yeah, come on. You're hired. I show up to the production meeting, and that's basically where everyone just kind of gets together, brainstorm with the director, storyboard artist, and a bunch of producer, just talking about the budget and what we're going to do, what your expectations are. A meeting, basically. But when I got there, I saw that there were 2 other women of color there, right? And that never happens. That never happened to me in my travels. Just my chair. Yeah, that never happened to me in my travels. I was always the only woman of color on set. Like, and if I was not the only woman of color on set, I was certainly the only woman of color in a certain what's the word I'm looking for? Certain level. There would be more like assistants. But this one, I was actually a designer head of that department. And like I said, that never happens. So when I got there, I saw, 2 black girls. And I'm like, hey. One was, I believe she was like hair, and another one was an assistant to some other department. I'm talking to him, and this is the first time the director is meeting me. And he's like, looking at me like I'm lost. Like, can we help you? I'm like, hey, I'm AV. How you doing? I was like, oh, okay. We had the production meeting, and at the end of the meeting, it was me, him, a producer, and the storyboard artist, and we were just talking, trying to, like, we met with everybody, and then now let's just talk us, and with the DP, which means director of photography, aka the camera person. I shouldn't make it that simple, but whatever. Sorry, DPs, I love you anyway. But we were all sitting there, we're talking, and he was just obsessed with what AV stood for. And this is like, I just told you guys I had just kind of like changed over, so I was protective of it. A lot of people didn't know what the A stood for. And I'm like, my initials. Only payroll really needs to know what the A and AV stands for, because I need to be able to cash my checks. That's it, basically. But he's like, so what does the A stand for? I'm like, my initials. And he was making me like feel like really uncomfortable about it. And he's like, so, but like, what is it? And I'm like, my initials. Like, is this what we're talking about now? Or are we talking about this film that we're supposed to work on? No, we're not going to talk about that. Is the storyboard artist going to draw me up something? Are y'all going to draw me up these checks? Because what are we talking about here? I'm not being able to do my job because you're just focused on what A stands for. And then he says, I've worked in art department before, and it's one of those things, people don't know who you are. And if they don't know who you are, it's just going to be hard to hire you. Now he's saying this like you're giving me advice I didn't ask for. I already made the decision. So how are you going to tell me what I should do? And he said, maybe you should put it in like parentheses or in quotes or something like that. And I said, I'm not The Rock, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. No, this is my actual name. Like, what are you talking about? And at this point, I had already decided that I'm not working on this project, because if you're going to spend 20 minutes just to worry about what my name is, and you didn't know who I was, but you knew my work, and that's why I got hired. And if you saw my work and hired me just off the strength of that, that means you already know what I can do. So what is this? Like, else do you need to know? Do you need to know that I'm black? Do you need to know my height? Do you need to know all these other things? No, it doesn't impact my work. So, like I said, I asked them, I said, well, since people won't know who I am, these are other designers I've worked with. One is named Casey, Alex, and Jamie. Who's the boy? And he's stumped. He's like, yeah, these are people I've worked with who naturally have unisex names. So what are they supposed to put on their resume? Boy, girl, in between? Like what? What are they supposed to do? And I'm like, well, Casey was the guy. Fun fact. But then what? So then I decided, well, this has to stay. And that's basically how AV came about. I mean, after that, I started getting word of mouth, because my work was good. So it was not like, after the first time, my hearts are purple, yay, gender equality. Yeah. So after that, it wasn't, what does the V stand for? Girl, you trying to have my business on Periscope? Well, the V stands for Valiz. My grandmother's name is Valda, and my great-grandmother's name was Elizabeth, and my parents put it together. I think it's my mom's doing. Val, V-A-L -L-I-Z. Amber Valiz Perkins. That is my name. That is it. And like I said, I've never been ashamed of it. It just works. And then it's kind of funny, because it also means suitcase. This is what my parents didn't plan. Shout out to all my No Madness people on this Periscope with me. It means suitcase, in a variation of it means, yeah, I know my full government, right? Like, geesh. But I do believe of design, and everything happens for a reason, and I do love to travel. And a variation of it is suitcase in French and suitcase in Turkish. So we be out here traveling with my suitcase middle name. But yeah, that's it, guys. Now it kind of just grew, because there's people that don't, my name means nothing. No, I feel like it does. I feel like Brittany means like, it's some, I was gonna say British, but yes, Amber Suitcase Perkins. Yep, that's exactly what my name is. And it kind of just grew from that. Like, there was people who I knew in my personal life that insisted on calling me AV. Like some of my sorority sisters and my cousins and things like that. So I'm like, okay, that works. Yes, destined traveler, destined from I was a little youth. But yeah, that is the story, and it just caught on. And for the record, there is no difference to me. Like, some people who I know, they'll say Amber because they know everyone else knows me as AV. Like, tribe people, you're not any closer to me or any further away from me, no matter which name that you use. Now, for consistency purposes, yes, please use the name that everyone else is using. Don't be a weirdo. Don't be, you're on my car speakers, this is weird. So it's like, am I like Angie Martinez right now? Like, because that's cool. But yeah, like if you say Amber and we're somewhere and no one knows who you're talking about, it's making it weird. It's making it weird. Don't be weird. That's it. But I don't have a problem with it. I do like my name. I think it's cute. And it's like the fall colors. I think it's really nice. It matches me. But that is the story. I am calling you Suitcase. Yes. Can you make it like a little bit more fancy? Because suitcase sounds so, maybe like, I can't think of another word for suitcase. Like I was going to say carry on, but no, that's not cool either. But yeah, that is the story, guys. Amber versus AV. They're the same person. Yes, tote, duffel, you know, less suitcase. Yes, yes, I like that. Call me less suitcase. And it's funny, my mother's initials are LA. So it all works, like in terms of being creative and Hollywoodish, I suppose. Put an accent on it. Yes, Valiz is the best. It's not spelled that way. That is how actual suitcase is spelled. Mine has two L's and a Z, but it's like there's a hyphen in there. So you say them separately. Valiz. That's it, guys. I don't got nothing else. Fancy. Yeah, Feeler can't spell. You know, Feeler's name is pretty difficult to say anyway. I always thought it was like Fedler for a while, but now, you know, knowing him, I know it's Fiedler. You look so sharp in your Abby Fiedler. I mean, Fatal Ice. No, the hyphen is between the two L's, Rosie. Yes, Valid is what Google says. Yes, that is what it means in French. And in Turkish, it has the Z. Thanks. I gave you the idea for your next broadcast. Well, I hope to see it. Yes, yes, Rosie, that is the correct spelling. Yep, that is it. So I'm about to cook my curry chicken. I'll hit you guys up later. But thanks for watching. And shout outs for gender equality.